that they so rightfully deserve, led by the police band and of course their yearhead in the person of Mr. Henry Karawali. Welcome, young men and ladies. Your parents are here. We are all here to appreciate you. Next, we have Mrs. Sombokowa, also leading a set of graduates. Thank you very much, Mrs. Kowa. Your efforts and your hard work is recognized. Some more students all over the place in their large numbers coming over. Then, of course, we have Mr. Saidu Tarawali. Mr. Saidu Tarawali, who is also one of the senior members of staff of the school, as well as HOD Humanities, leading another set of students. Thank you very much, Mr. Saidu Tarawali. After Mr. Saidu Tarawali, we do have an impressive number of students getting ready to be seated. Everything has started well, and I believe everything will end well. So much well-dressed, immaculately turned out students, applauded jointly and collectively by board members, as well as parents, teachers, well-wishers, siblings, etc., etc., etc. We should be seated by now so that we can kick off this program. That is Mr. Kenny Adewusi working things out with Mr. Odisise. Sure that the sitting arrangement is adhered to the letter to ensure that everything works and works perfectly. Thank you very much, parents. Thank you very much, teachers. Thank you very much, members of the board, for all your hard work, for all your efforts, for your devotion, your time, your generosity, your kindness, your hospitality, and everything that you have done, which has culminated in what we are about to have here this afternoon. We are so grateful and we so very much appreciate your presence. You've been standing for quite a while. Please be seated. Please be seated, and then we will start. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much, everyone. The board members are here, the graduates are here, so there is no reason why we cannot start now. And if you have the program in front of you, we are now about to move on to the fourth item, since we have already had the procession of graduates, and that is the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of the Gambia, and that will be followed by the singing of the Marina school song. Shall we all stand up again, please, for the singing of the national anthem of the Gambia? And please, Gambia is our homeland. We are proud to be Gambians, and let us all join. Let us all sing loudly and proudly for the Gambia, our homeland. Over to you. Thank you very, very much. Now, the school song. Can we all be, especially Marina students, please, you can't afford to sit down. It is your school song. Please. So, over to you. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Indeed, as students, as parents, as board members, as teachers, all of us are proud to be associated with Marina in one way or the other. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, ours is a very religious country where we practice our different faiths in an atmosphere of peace and religious tolerance. It is in that regard that we normally kick off all of our programs by inviting God in our midst. And for this reason, I want to invite first our very own Ustaz, Aliyu Ture, to come and lead us in Muslim prayers. Ustaz Aliyu Ture, our very own Ustaz, please come and lead us in Muslim prayers, to be followed by Mrs. Teresa Tupan, who will lead us in Christian prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Jayasamba. Let me use this opportunity once again to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for being here again, witnessing another session of graduation. It's our students. We are proud of them, all of them. I recognize all of them, and I told all of them from Form 1. Thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for witnessing this day. And with prayers, with success, insha'Allah, tabaraka wa ta'ala. This is why as Muslim, as Christian, we all have this faith that anything we start or anything we do in life, we start with prayer, insha'Allah. And with prayer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be with us always. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. اللهم زدنا ولا تنقصنا وأكرمنا ولا تهنا وكن لنا ولا تكن علينا اللهم آمنا في أوطاننا اللهم احفظ بلادنا غامبيا وسائر بلاد المسلمين اللهم زدنا تقوانا اللهم زدنا علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا شاكرا اللهم احفظ هذا الأولاد بلادنا وأولادنا وإخواننا وذرياتنا وأمهاتنا وآباؤنا اللهم أصلح شبابنا المسلمين اللهم أصلح شبابنا المسلمين اللهم أصلحهم اللهم زد علمهم اللهم زد علمهم اللهم انفعنا علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا شاكرا. I wish you all good. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase your knowledge abundantly, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ustaz Ture. It is now my honor to invite Mrs. Teresa Tupan to come and lead us in Christian prayers. Mrs. Tupan also happens to be a parent of one of the graduating students here this afternoon. Mrs. Tupan, you're welcome.
Shall we continue in prayer? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. For thy is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tupan. With those two very, very powerful prayers, I have every reason to believe that what God is with us and will remain with us throughout this very, very important function. Madam Chair, guest speaker, other members of the Board of Governors of Marina International High School, parents, teachers, graduates, siblings, well-wishers, etc., etc., etc. It is a lovely day, isn't it? Is today a lovely day? Yes. Is today a lovely day? Yes. Thank you very much. Well, I want to assure you that indeed today is a lovely day and that we are all going to have a very, very memorable and unforgettable experience here this afternoon. Speech and Prize Giving Day, I repeat, Speech and Prize Giving Day, in my humble opinion, is a grand event. But Graduation Day is an even grander one. This is because on the former, we recognize the achievements of our students in the classroom and on the field. But for the latter, that is to say Graduation Day, we do not only recognize your achievements in the classroom, but we are also saying farewell to you after you spent an impressive number of years at Marina International High School. Some of you have been there for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, etc., etc. However, my task here today is not to talk, but to ensure that every event on the agenda is carried out in accordance with the protocols and etiquette associated with such an auspicious occasion. And that I intend to do to the very letter. Therefore, without much ado, it is now my singular honor and pleasure to welcome and invite the chairperson of the Board of Governors, in the first person of Justice Nancy Sewada, a lady who, during her period as chairperson of the board, has of course contributed in a myriad of ways to change the very face of Marina International High School. We all know that the Marina of yesteryears is completely different from the Marina of today. And that is, of course, as a direct result of her dynamic leadership as chair of the board. Madam Chair, please, it is time for your opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samba, for those very nice words. The guest speaker at this occasion, Ms. Musu Bakoto Sawo, colleague members of the Board of Governors of Marina International School, the management and staff of Marina International School, distinguished parents, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols respectfully and duly observed. Good afternoon. It is indeed an honor and great privilege to welcome you all in my capacity as the chairperson of the Board of Governors to the graduation ceremony of the class of 2021, students of Marina International High School. This is the time in the life of the school that we bid farewell to our students who have just completed taking their IGCSE exams, as well as those students that have also just completed their advanced level examinations this year. I am happy to inform you that a total of 86 students will be graduating from the school, 79 Form 5 students. A record 19 of them will be graduating with honors, and seven Form 7 scholars that have also just completed their advanced level studies. And it is with great pleasure and deep satisfaction that I will first of all heartily and in a special way welcome the graduating class of 2021. You are the reason why we are all gathered here today in celebration to recognize and to rejoice with you on your achievements that have culminated from many years of hard work, many years of you toiling with your books, and indeed many years of burning the midnight candle, resulting to the climax of you completing your high school education in the best academic environment that high school education can offer you in the Gambia. However, let me take the liberty and the opportunity in welcoming you, your parents and teachers, to your special day, say very few words of advice and counsel to you that you have only come to the end of a new beginning. A significant new beginning that will indeed be a major turning point in your lives, requiring you to take very critical decisions, sometimes on your own, and requiring you to a large extent to take charge of your lives. And in facing these inevitable realities, I urge all of you to maintain and optimize your commitment and dedication towards your educational pursuits, as it is the single most important guarantee to you that would ensure that you are well placed for success and excellence to meet the expectations of your parents, your families, your teachers, your peers, and everyone really. But more especially, the expectation of your parents, who undoubtedly have invested a lot in you, both emotionally and financially. Let me also say at this point that I do not worry about being labeled as gender biased, but on almost every occasion that I have to address the girl child, I take it seriously, given that in our circumstances, we still live in a largely patriarchal society where the education of the girl child still has its setbacks and impediments. So once again, and on this occasion, to the graduating girls here today, let me seize the opportunity again to single you out and to say to you that the skies are your limits. For I have always firmly believed that little girls with dreams become women with visions. In the words of the internationally renowned Pakistani schoolgirl Malala Yousafzai, a one-time winner of the prestigious and coveted Nobel Peace Prize in October 2014, who stood against the dreaded Taliban and demanded that girls be allowed to receive an education, and was shot at close range in the head by a Taliban gunman in 2012, which she miraculously survived. And she had this to say, I quote from her: "We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back. We call upon our sisters around the world to be brave, to embrace the strength within themselves and realize their full potential." Elsewhere, she again said, "As girls, let us pick up our books and our pencils. They are our most powerful weapons." Close quote. Gone are the days when women and girls are relegated to the back, and in the light of the new reality, I say to you, rise up to the challenge. Do not ever be deterred or constrained by the fact of your gender, our gender. You can do it all, and you are able to do it even better. So at this very important milestone in your lives, turning into young ladies, go out there, seize the opportunities that there are, equip and educate yourselves to ensure that you are fully part of the transition to gender equality and parity of the world in all aspects and in all disciplines of life. I strongly encourage all of you to be motivated and to be inspired by Malala Yousafzai and other girls and young women within your generation that are of like minds and who are committed to ensuring that in a patriarchal world, they seize the opportunities and emancipate themselves from illiteracy or semi-illiteracy to be able to build a bright and excellent future for yourselves. I am sure our guest speaker, and without wanting to preempt her, will no doubt do a great job in addressing all of you on all these very pertinent realities of the emergence from high school and the transition into adulthood. To our guest speaker, we specially and warmly welcome, and on behalf of the Board of Governors, the management and staff of the school, we thank you immensely for having accepted our invitation and for being with us despite your very busy schedules. We are and remain grateful. To our indefatigable teachers and the management of the school, I welcome you, but more importantly, let me say that you are the reason and the driving force behind this reality today. For all your untiring efforts, all your commitment, and for all your sacrifices to ensure that the Marina class of 2021 not only complete their courses on time, despite the restrictions and setbacks imposed on us by the coronavirus pandemic, and reach their set targets, but are also able to graduate today with pride. And for this, on behalf of the Board of Governors, I say thank you very much to each and every one of the teachers. Lastly, and most importantly, also, to our very proud and indefatigable parents, especially the mothers, especially the women, the mothers. Dega, affaire bi yépp yéen la, yéen yaay yi. Meaning that you have been there from the inception of the lives of these very precious little ones graduating today. You have been there as the nurses, the nurturers, the strong pillars of support, the mentors, the investors doing the school runs, etc., etc., and having to manage all of this with our very own challenging careers. This is why I call ourselves multitasking moms, and in doing all of this, also having to ensure that each and every one of them is specially provided for and taken care of, and for this day to be a reality. I thank you immensely, and I heartily welcome you to this ceremony and ask you to celebrate as you are in every way entitled to do so. I thank all of you for your kind attention, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless and protect the entire Marina family, especially the graduating class of 2021, a large number of whom will be emerging out of the comforts of their homes and the supervision of their parents into the harsh realities of the outside world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his infinite mercy guide and protect them all. Once again, thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. This is a function you've performed on several occasions, and whenever you've been called upon to do so, indeed, you've always lived up to the task. We are very, very grateful to you also for your support, your encouragement, and everything that is the role that you continue to play in the affairs of Marina International High School. Incidentally, it had been during this period that Madam Wada has been chair that we had a new headmaster in the person of Mr. William Arthur, and all of us in this gathering can attest to Unfortunately, he is not here with us. We would have loved for him to be here with us, but unfortunately, he is not here. In his stead, I want to invite Mr. Henry Tarali, who is your year head, to come and say a few words. Mr. Henry Tarali.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairperson of the board and members of the board, distinguished parents, honorable guests, staff, guardian, and all present. It is a special occasion which marks an ending of years of hard work, an attainment of goals, and the acknowledgement of success achieved. So it is important that today we commemorate the road that we have all traveled together these past few years. It has been a journey that started with tentative steps, perhaps with one that has taken us to remarkable heights. We have encountered some challenges along the way, short as the recent pandemic, but we stood firm. And we have experienced exceptional moments, magical moments, and created memories that will be fondly remembered in the years ahead. According to a wise saying, I quote, "Coming together is being keeping together. It's progress, and working together is success," unquote. As we look back over the last few years, certainly there was a beginning, and thankfully there was also progress, and yes, undeniably we have been successful. Let us look back to where it all started. And who can forget when we all come together for the first time, nervous young students in Form 1, proud parents of the Board of Governors, and dedicated staff body. We all come together with a common purpose in mind to encourage and develop lifelong learning in the young graduates who sit before us this evening. With a strong resolve and determination, we all kept together day in and day out, guided by our goal of keeping together and working together. We faced some incredible and memorable moments, which we are stepping stone in the pursuit of our common goals. And what progress we made are just a few of the following highlights attest to. The number of distinctions in the school examination over the period, the number of students who are graduating with honors, the provision of a platform for virtual learning to ensure continuity during the height of the pandemic. The end result, ladies and gentlemen, of our coming together, keeping together and working together, in spite of the obstacle that may have faced along the way in the graduating class of 2021. We are proud of the successes that we have made with the opportunities that we are offered. Congratulations, we are all. You are ready, willing, and more than able to hold the torch that we pass on to you. Yours is the future, and on the wall will come to depend. May your years ahead continue to be characterized by empathy, compassion, objectivity, and a willingness to take risks. May you always lead by example and work hard and play straight. May your successes be many. We wish you everything that you so richly deserve in the years ahead. It has been an honor and privilege matching your progresses and successes. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Tarawali. I can vouch that indeed you have been not only the head for these young men and women, but a father figure, as you have always urged them to do their utmost, and your effort is what we see here today. As these young men and women get ready to embark on yet another important stage in their quest for academic excellence. And in doing so, please remember, in the words of Alexander Pope, a notable English poet, remember this, boys and girls, young men and women, well, ladies and gentlemen now, that a little learning is a dangerous thing. I repeat, a little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep, or taste not the pure spring. There, shallow draughts intoxicates the mind, and drinking lightly sobers it again. So when you set out to achieve education, drink deep from the tree of knowledge. Don't be satisfied with anything less. Thank you very much. At this point, it is again my pleasure to invite Miss Hawa Sankare and Miss Hawa Sise two of our graduating students in the usual tradition of Marina International High School to take us down to memory lane. Ms. Sankare and Ms. Sise, please take us down memory lane. Use all you have learned from Mrs. Sonko and others in terms of what imagery and figurative language, or what we have learned from Mr. Quadri, Mrs. Owa, Mrs. Bonifa, both figuratively to actually make us see. We want to see in our mind's eye what exactly you have to offer. Over to you. You don't have to share the mic. We have separate mics for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sambo. Good evening, parents, friends, teachers, mentors, administrators, and of course, the graduating class of 2021!
Let's go. We are finally here. Today we have become Marina graduates, 13 years and thousands of memories later.
I'm honored on behalf of you to reflect upon our journey and thank those who supported us along the way.
I remember when Miss Owens would make us snitch on ourselves claiming to own a magic mirror. How we had science fair and I said Demba and Jana Bokonte came with a rabbit as their science project.
Who brings a rabbit to a science fair? Seriously.
Jana Bowaga starting a dance group in year 4. You guys know, you're the math superstar was everything.
Tell me why our form has the most digger bopper children ever. Like, you guys be disturbing everybody.
You guys literally made Miss Asma cry.
Jolala Wahde. No, Brother Joe. You were so restless, Miss Tucker had to tie you to a chair.
Senabu Roberts, your mom, Lord if ngone bemuduga la sibir mbalit bi.
I said, Demba, I hope you overcame your anger of not being invited to Banta's birthday in your home.
It was still lit, though.
You missed out.
It was lit. And when everyone wanted to become Mariam Ishmael's best friend because she brought sweets to school.
Then
the prefect outing. If you missed, you missed. I never knew football in the rain would be so much fun.
I can't believe I missed that one.
No. Tell me why almost every parent thinks that Ibrahim Silla is the perfect child.
Ibrahim, this boy bothered us all. He's the biggest bully ever.
And when you threaten to report him to his mom, he'll be yelling her number out.
I think at this point, all of us have Auntie Umi's number.
No. Then Ramadan in school. The fatango in there.
Those of you that broke your fast in school, you know yourselves.
At this point, I think we should all sponsor Mariam Alami and asthma pump. Mariam had a whole heart attack after losing her Nokia 3310 Samsung. And Mr. Sandy had to carry her to the nurse. Mr. Sandy Mune, his back is still not correct there.
The way we never studied for music, yet we all passed. Numfa deme. We all know why they ban kneeling down in school. Everybody kneel down. Mr. Cole, where's Mr. Cole?
Mr. Kingsley's class, Jennifer Sen, Hadi, Anya, and Hawa, y'all know how it went. Things fall apart, but I will never forget that day.
We miss him though. Mr. Job, he has in some way impacted all of us. No nonsense. He won't hesitate before throwing you out of his class. And Jusumak Angel! Your class was the best. Your science class was the best regardless. I don't know how you handled this really.
No, science class was just fun. Mr. Rogers more than Bindabe in the Togo. Mr. Onitamitsuana Nenko, Mr. Gandhi had 6 students in his class, yet they never learned. What time? Like Hadjushi Jame Balajo Nakala. He would spend half of the lesson trying to teach us.
6 students is not that hard to control.
And Miss Olaronto, I think we all enjoyed her online lessons.
Do y'all remember when Mr. Lovelace called Aka a 3-eyed billy goat? I think we were all shocked when his dad came to the school.
Shout out to Gucci Gang,
Mad Gang,
PS Squad.
We really thought we was all that now.
All the squads for what?
We thought we were the boss.
No, and Miss Manifa in class always making Ibrahim read Romeo.
And then teasing Sukunda saying she looks like a pregnant cow.
But how can we forget our teacher, Madam Saha? What's poppin'? I'm from the ghetto. All the physics students' favorite line. No, Mr. Saha is something else.
Alimota Sisi, how can we forget that girl? She said she had rubbed by force.
And it doesn't like her wearing a veil, just so she could remove it every day when she came to school.
I will take you to Odyssey.
Odyssey. Mr. Then the amount of times we tried to cancel tests because we didn't study for it. And our excuse was always that we had COVID.
And no one really had COVID. I mean, we were at home.
Then the time the whole form had big detention and Miss Sonko came and we were all laughing.
No, the nyaka im. History students, we felt your pain. Y'all will cry after every test, but it's over now. It's over.
Julia Mwambwane, every class.
You guys, be quiet.
But how can we not mention our maths teachers?
Mr. Sandy and his chicken joke. If Mr. Sandy said your test, it was either really easy or really hard.
There was no in between.
How I literally cried after getting a 98%. 98%, who cries?
How can we forget Mr. Traore? No, he's the reason a lot of us passed our maths papers. How Alassane would always win for Red House. He's a runner, he's a track star.
But y'all, which one of you used to share our class codes? The teachers were tired. You guys should not have done that.
And then when we wouldn't know the answers to the question, Gishnyam our sisters would come and say, Mr. My connection is poor.
Well, Hassan has left the chat.
Then sociology class, I think we all genuinely enjoyed. Mr. Kenny was the G. It was always so fun, especially when we would have the debates. Nyam Alaji, Aisatu, Aliu, Jili, or Sampo. You guys know what it was. Aisatu Dumber never joined class except it was sociology.
When Sampo was sleeping in English class and Ibrahim Al-Mukhtar turned on his camera, I think he almost gave Miss Monifa a heart attack. And soon Kati, Omar Nyang, daf ko def be, ñu oyé ko sleeping handsome.
But Sukunda wins. Sukunda used to sleep every single English class.
Then the one time Balajo, Hadi and Ajawa were urging Mango and Mr. Sandy came.
And the final memory, I think this one might just be everybody's favorite, the 3-eyed monkey.
And now after all the school trips, talent shows and Q-City outings, after all the choir songs and forceful entry into other graduations, we sit here today attending our own. This was one hell of a journey. After today, some of us may never see each other again, and others' paths will cross at some point in time. But regardless, it is these memories that bind us together, no matter where we are or how distant we've become. It was a tiresome journey, and I believe we can all agree to that. After all the tears and exams, but let's not forget the smiles and the laughs, we're finally here, and we can say that we made it!
To our teachers, thank you for so unselfishly sharing your time, talent, and knowledge with us. To our parents, thank you for supporting us in more ways than we could possibly count. And to our PE teachers and coaches, thank you for making school more than just about classwork. Our rule is now over. It's not a distant reality anymore. It begins here. It begins today. Wherever we go and whatever we may do, may we always be friends when we meet again. With that being said, congratulations, my fellow graduates of the class of 2K21. And I look forward to being around you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sise, and thank you so very much, Ms. Sankare, for taking us down memory lane. Indeed, those very last words that you had expressed about not meeting again, etc., reminds me of the last meeting between Brutus and Cassius in one of Shakespeare's most memorable plays called Julius Caesar, where Cassius tells Brutus, "Forever and forever, dear Brutus, farewell. If we do meet again, why, we shall smile. But if we don't, it is true, this parting was well made. Forever and forever, farewell, Brutus. Forever and forever, farewell, class of 2021. If we do meet again, why, we shall smile. But if we don't, it is true, this parting was well made." It is now my singular honor and privilege to introduce to this August gathering our guest speaker, of whom a little has already been said by the chair. But believe you me, whatever I say here this afternoon will not do her the justice that she deserves, taking into account her various accomplishments, not only in the world of academia, but also in the world of what? Human rights, which I'm reliably informed she is so very, very passionate about. In fact, our guest speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, has been a human rights defender for over 19 years. And her particular area of interest has been defending the rights of children and women. But I'm sure that in defending the rights of women and children, you've also defended the rights of men. She has, I am told, an in-depth knowledge of human rights, not only because she is the proud and deserving holder of a master's degree LLM in human rights and democratization in Africa, but also through her membership and leadership within different non-governmental and community-based organizations. She has used this knowledge and translated this knowledge into capacity building, research, networking, program development, and practical engagement with human rights mechanisms at grassroots, national, regional, international organizations and platforms. She is, in addition to the above, a voluntary national coordinator of Think Young Women, and she also teaches law at the University of the Gambia. Through these organizations, our guest speaker has built considerable experience in practicing the principles of human rights, especially working with grassroots communities to ensure the protection and fulfillment of the rights of women and girls. She has also successfully led and contributed to the strengthening of organizations, capacity building on human rights, especially the rights of women and girls and supporting the development of governance tools for them. As a result of such an impressive academic and work resume, our guest speaker has been the recipient of many coveted awards. These include the following: the Daily Trust African of the Year 2020, the 2017 Verachiwa Award by the Center for Human Rights, University of Pretoria, that was given to her in recognition of her work in advancing women's rights in Africa, especially the thorny issue of FGM, female genital mutilation, and other harmful traditional practices. She is also the proud recipient of the 2018 Commonwealth Points of Light for the Gambia from Her Majesty's government, Queen Elizabeth, Her Majesty's government. This award also recognizes the work that she does for women and girls in the Gambia. From the above, we all know that our guest speaker is indeed a human rights activist, and that she's very, very much into issues that have to do with women and the girl child, okay? In addition also, she has been recognized as one of the 100 most influential young persons in West Africa by the Confederation of West African Youths. This recognition was given to her in the year 2018. UNICEF has also identified and recognized her as a change maker. She is recognized and identified by UNICEF as a change maker, and she is the recipient of the Inspiring Gambian Award of 2018. This award was given to her by the People's Choice Award for excellence in recognition of her work in the advancement of the rights of women and the girl child. So it's obvious from the above that our guest speaker is very, very much into the protection and promotion of human rights. And as we all know, that is a very, very impressive platform in this day and age. But for me, particularly interesting is the fact that our guest speaker is proud to identify herself as a former child bride. She is a former child bride, and she's also an FGM survivor. She is also an FGM survivor. With such an impressive academic and work background, who else? I believe that our guest speaker is more than qualified to address you young men and women on this auspicious occasion, especially so because this year's theme, the theme for this function is what? Success in challenging times. How do we achieve success in such difficult, in such trying, and in such challenging times as you are bound to encounter? Remember that life, we always want life to be what? A bed of roses. But more often than not, life turns out to be like what? Like a bed of thorns. So I believe that with her achievements and her trials, her tribulations and her successes, our guest speaker is ably qualified to address this gathering on the theme, success in challenging and difficult times. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the high table, please join me in welcoming Madam Musu Bakote Somo, who is our guest speaker.
Thank you very much, MC. Distinguished Board of Governors of Marina International School, staff, dear parents, dear graduates. 13 years ago, this was me, 2008, a day I will forever remember. It was quite great, not as grand as this, of course. I remember when I was contacted and asked if I would want to come and serve as the guest speaker to your graduation ceremony. Well, what an honorable thing, and I'm very grateful for that. And yesterday, I was communicated to in respect of the theme. And I was speaking to a friend when the text message from Miami came through. And I said, Jama, they're asking me to speak in respect of success during challenging times. And I can't write a speech, of course, because we had traveled and only got back on Wednesday evening, so we were quite tired. And she said, you have lots of material. I'm sure you will be fine. You could perhaps tell them a bit about your life story, and maybe that will inspire them that sometimes life will throw adversities at you, lots of them for that matter. When you get into the real world, you will learn that. But what do you do with that? So for me, it all began many years ago. I was 9 years when I developed the passion for advancing the cause of children. So my school, by the way, I was your neighbor. I attended Bakau Newtown Primary School, and we would often go at the back of our school to look at your beautiful campus. And every day, we reminded ourselves that even though we're not in Marina, but what would we do with our situation? Would we just sit around and do nothing, or would we want to aspire to be much more? I didn't come from a rich family, but I wanted much more for myself. So from that really early age, I developed the passion. I was attending drama competitions, quiz competitions, debate competitions for my school. But one would think that, wait, perhaps there might be a good future for this girl. Well, not when I was 14 years old. I became someone's wife. At 14, I was robbed of my childhood. And at 14, there were days that I did not want to go to school, because every day that I stepped into St. Teresa's Upper Basic School, I was reminded that I was someone's wife, that I couldn't play with the other kids. Everybody was talking about me. And some days I really didn't want to go to school. I would sometimes even not go to school. I would go to the market and just roam around because of all the bullying that I had to encounter. But it dawned onto me that what would that do for me really? I didn't want to be just a part of the statistic, to be someone's wife, to be part of the statistic of the number of child marriages we had in the Gambia. I had the desire to change my family status. I had the desire to be a lawyer, to continue fighting for the cause of women and girls in my country. And I knew that nothing would change that but education. So in spite of the fact that every day when I walked into school, people were talking about me being married, it didn't deter me. So I did the Gabeke, they call it, grade 9. I got high scores and went into the Ghana Methodist Academy. My parents did their best, of course, to ensure that I got an education. I still don't understand why I had to be someone's wife. Those are questions that I kept asking myself. But I thought to myself that perhaps there was a reason, that I will not be judgmental. I wouldn't judge them for a decision, but I would hope that a parent or parents would want to keep their children safe, and marriage wasn't the best way possible. So I went to Ghana Methodist Academy. It was very close to my house. There is a garden right across the school where women would farm, and my mother had a vegetable farm there. So every morning at 5 a.m., I would be required to go to that vegetable garden, do watering, of course, and then come back home, take my shower, and then go to Methodist. When I am often coming back, the early birds would see me, and they would laugh at me. Because what? I was holding a bucket. I had just come from the vegetable garden to support my mother. That was a means of livelihood for her, and that was a way of keeping her family together, and also a way of ensuring that her children had quality education. She wanted that. Now, neither of my parents had that opportunity, and for some reason, my mother wanted that for her children. So every day that I did that, I would be laughed at. Of course, it's hard as a young person. You want to live life, you want a certain lifestyle. Sometimes it doesn't come that easy. You have to really work hard for that. But I was willing to do that. So I tell myself every day that, well, a Benz may not be parked outside to pick me and drop me off to school, but I know that I have a way of keeping myself up there. and that is getting killer grades. That's what I reminded myself every day, just to feel good. Just to feel good about the situation that, hey, at the end of the day, when the term ends and we're looking at those report cards, it wouldn't matter whether or not I had all those extra things. Those are privileges. I'll be like, oh, hey, wama am forced mungini. So that was my way of just keeping myself together. And we all know that marriage in our setting is not between two spouses. Marriage is extended to your spouse's family, and that also meant for me as that young child, every weekend going to my husband's family and trying to bond with them. It was something that I did not understand at first because I was still quite young. For me, I found it very funny in the beginning that, oh, how am I someone's wife? I mean, I'm a child. What does a child know about this? But that was also something that kept me going. And the desire to want to change the narratives in this country was that as a child rights activist, a renowned one for that matter, the systems failed me. I did not get out of that marriage because I had seen many of my friends who were in the same position as me, who had run away and went to a shelter where they're meant to be protected, forcefully taking away from that same space, a space that was meant to save them, a space that was meant to protect them, and I saw them shipped off abroad for purposes of marriage. That for me was when I even built a greater urge of wanting to change the system in this country and continuing to fight so that women and girls in this country would live a meaningful life, one that gives them the same opportunity as their male counterparts. So I finished high school. I had very good grades. Again, there's an expectation at least to myself that I am reminded every day that I need to do better, not just for me, but for my family and for all those other girls who did not get that opportunity. I only got the opportunity to continue to go to school because I threatened my family that if they didn't let me complete my education, I was going to kill myself. And that desire of knowing that if I didn't hatch a plan, I would end up being that number, that figure that I did not want to. So I was allowed to complete high school, a greater expectation of marriage being consummated right after high school. So I told my husband then that if you really did love me, you would want me to pursue my goals, my dreams of becoming a lawyer, and he agreed, even though at the time, family members who would when I, of course, went to his house, and he lived abroad, so I lived with his family. When they see me leave, go to university, they will say comments like in Mandinka, "Niyo manke musoti, niyo manna futwala, niyo buko dora yaje dula buko dora," meaning this person did not come to be married. Sort of like I wasn't a wife material. That I was a bookworm. Everywhere that I was seen, I had a book held in my hand. But for me, there was a greater vision. It was difficult, almost impossible sometimes. I'll tell myself, you're not a superwoman, you can't do it. But again, the urge, the need, the desire to want to be much more pushed me to. So despite the fact that it was such a difficult moment for me, such a difficult time for me, I still wanted to persevere. In my second year, I became pregnant and I had a baby girl. And then I knew the difference, that being a parent is perhaps the most beautiful thing. But I took a vow right there that even though I had been doing this work since I was 9, but holding that daughter in my arms was an indication that I was meant for greater things. That not only was I going to put my life on the line to ensure that I give her a better life, that I protect her, but I would also do that for every little girl who was like me, who wasn't meant to go to school, who was meant to be someone's wife. It will change. And every year, something would happen. In my third year, my husband, who was supporting me at that time, passed away. He was only 34 years old, and I was 21. And I was left with an 11-month-old daughter. I had no job. I was in third-year university. I had nothing. I did not receive an inheritance. I still have not, but that's okay. I told myself that I'll make my own money and I will provide for my child. And by the grace of God, I was only able to do that because I continued to fight through, because I continued going to university, and I completed my 4th-year degree program, an LLB in law, and I got into a university which is renowned for being best for law in Africa, and it's 92nd in the world, and that is the University of Pretoria. I won that prestigious scholarship despite the fact that thousands of Africans applied for it, but I was found worthy of being able to gain admission into that university. So one would think that, well, the journey of difficulty, of course, would end. It doesn't. For me, I have taken it on board as a continuous journey. 2 weeks prior to my LLM examination, my mother passed away. And I found out on Facebook that my mother had passed away. I was in Zimbabwe on a field trip from South Africa, so I couldn't access anyone. I couldn't call anyone. At some point, a friend bought Skype credit for me, and I called. And that particular day, I had continuously been talking about my mother to my friend, whom I had gone to Zimbabwe with on our field trip. And I kept saying, my mother is a woman I never really understood. She didn't have much, but she was so given that every year when she does harvest at her vegetable garden, she would give everything to our neighbors. And I would say that she would give out our clothes that we love the most. And every single time we're upset, she will tell us, imagine someone giving you their torn clothes. Would you appreciate that? So she said, when you are giving something, you give something that you love, you give something that you value, so the person you are giving it to would love it as much as you do. That particular day, I was constantly talking about my mother in that regard, not knowing that she actually had passed away. So when I found out, I just went into depression. I still don't know how I passed those exams, by the way. It was just 2 weeks before the exams. The university had offered to allow me to defer and come back again, and I didn't want to do that. I was like, it's hard, but surely I won't die. So I fought through because there was still a greater desire. I was dedicated, I was committed, I was willing to work hard, even though those were very challenging and difficult times. And I graduated, and I came back home, and I started teaching law at the university and reminding the students every single day, particularly the young girls, that your narrative could be changed by only you. That sometimes, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situations, you can make it. It doesn't matter what social status you're from. It doesn't matter your background. When you are disciplined, when you are committed, when you are dedicated, and through tenacity, you can achieve everything. By the time I was 28 years old, I was appointed as the Deputy Executive Secretary to the Truth, Reconciliation, and Reparations Commission. And I had an opportunity to contribute to that important commission, to the important conversations that had taken place, to be part of the team that were investigating the human rights violations that this country had gone through, the struggles that women and girls in this country continue to go through. I did not intend to bore you with my personal story or to get personal with you, but I shared my story with you in hope that you would be inspired by it, that you would remember when you go into the real world and life throws adversities at you, that you can fight back. 6 and 7 years respectively after my LLB and my LLM, I decided that I wanted to enroll into law school. Having taught at the university for 4 years, 2019, I applied to gain admission into the Gambia Law School so I could be a barrister at law. We were 95 in the classroom, and I taught 50 of those students at the university. So you can imagine the pressure. Everybody is expecting good grades. Oh, your students, are you not even bothered? I had no complexes, of course. I knew that that was the time that I was ready, that I had deferred that part of my life and my journey for a long period of time. But then I had 2 kids. I had a full-time job and then a full-time student. And my husband was away in China doing his master's. And then COVID happened and online classes at Modo horrified me. Oh my God, I am still traumatized by that. Every day when I closed from school, I was required to go to work because I had that arrangement with my employer. And I'm sometimes at the office until 10 p.m. And then I come home and I have to go through those lectures with the kids because they had to prepare for whatever opportunity that awaits them the next day. It was almost impossible. But hey, guess what? When we had the exams, I can't even begin to explain to you. My son had a crisis just 2 weeks before my exams. And I was like, wow, this universe really, what do I need to do to not be in this situation? But guess what? I studied really hard. It was difficult taking care of those 2 kids, going to work, going to school. I am tired all the time. But I did the exams. In my first try, I had a clean pass. This is a journey that you go on. This is an expectation that you have. This is a constant reminder that we don't know what awaits us. We're sometimes never prepared for it. But again, discipline, hard work, dedication, commitment. With those in mind, everything and anything is possible. Congratulations to you all. Great job.
God. What a moving testimony. What an inspiring testimony. What an testimony. Madam Sao, I want to assure you that you did not in any way bore us with that presentation. Class of 2021, did she bore you with that presentation? No. Did she bore you with that presentation? No. There you go, ma'am. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Madam's presentation here, she is a living testimony to the fact that you don't have to be born with the proverbial silver spoon to make it in life. You don't have to be born with the proverbial silver spoon in your mouth to make it in life. We have had many, many instances of people who have succeeded in life, who have moved from grass to grace. And she an example of that. I am sure this class will benefit in a myriad of ways from that particular presentation. The trials, the tribulations, the difficulties, the hard times that you went through as young as 14 years of age, and those things that you have achieved in life at such a very, very young age. It's so inspiring. I should think that, Madam, you should be thinking of putting these things down in a book, so that young people should also read, you see, because the written word, you know, is something that I mean, I'm getting so emotional. I was really moved, Madam. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed, and I'm sure we all are impressed. Thank you very much. We have now arrived at one of the most important reasons for which we are assembled here this afternoon, and that has to do with the distribution of your diplomas. These diplomas that, of course, you so rightly deserve. But before I call on the people who are going to help us through that very important ceremony please allow me again to share a few words of knowledge with you. Please allow me. In the world in which we live in today, when you laugh, the whole world laughs with you when you laugh. But weep, and you weep alone. Sing, and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. Rejoice, and men will seek you. Grieve, and they turn and go. Be glad, and your friends are many. Be sad, and you lose all of them. Feast, and your halls are crowded. Fast, and the world goes by. Forget and forgive. It helps you to live. But no man can help you to die. There is room in the halls of pleasure for a long and lordly train. But one by one, we must all march on through the narrow aisles of pain. On that note, I want to invite Mr. Odisise, and well, first and foremost, the chair herself, to come and help us distribute these diplomas. And in doing so, she will be assisted by first Mr. Odisise, the Deputy Head Academic Matters, Marina International High School, and later on by Mrs. Fatumata Sonko, Deputy Head Pastoral Matters. Madam Chair, you are welcome.
Good evening, good afternoon, all our distinguished guest speaker. I want to say this is the most inspirational speech I've ever had in a gathering like this. Thank you. You know, when you were delivering your speech, I was looking, I thought it's something that you've prepared, because I was going to ask you for a copy. Everything is from the head. It is something that she did not prepare. Thank you, madam. You see, there are many participants that will involve in a race, but very few will reach the finish mark. And all it takes for you to reach the finish mark, everything was in that speech. Perseverance, endurance, the zeal, focus, and commitment, hard work. Thank you, madam. We are here this afternoon, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for consenting to distribute the certificates. We want to start with the advanced level class of 2021. May I call on Mr. Jabi and Mr. Henry Tarawali to step forward, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have 7 graduates this afternoon that are graduating with advanced level diploma. Please, may I remind you that because of the current situation, there is no shaking of hands. Rather, you may just bow and then receive your certificates. Thank you. First on my list for the advanced level diplomas, I have Samuel Habatan. Shall we please put our hands together for Samuel Habatan? Walter Walter Oluwole Onesimus Johnson, Zainab Mane, Malik Idrissa Njai, Doris PMO Roberts, David Vincent Duramani Sisse, ladies and gentlemen, IGCSE class of 2021. We are going to start with students graduating with honors. We have 19 students graduating with honors, 13 of which are girls. Before calling on the class of 2021 graduating with honors, may I ask you all to stand up and lift up your honors banner, please. Lift up your honors. Lift it up. Shall we put our hands together for the wonderful people, please? First on my list, honors list, Mariam Alami. Samira Aminata Alou. Aisatsu Balajo. Fatima Bowen. Abdullah Sise. lycée. Sonia Del Aisatsu Demba. Mariam Ismail. Sanu Janet. Mahatik. Aminatsu Jojondong. Elizabeth N. Ogo. Jitsi Pandya. Awa Sankare. Ibrahim Zakaria Sila. Ronit Chachani. Bori Sure. And finally on the honor list, Julia Williams.
Just watch out on that.
Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving on to IGCSE class of 2021 students graduating with high school diploma. First on my list, Zainab A. Adewusi. Mukhtar Ba. Bara Boka Baja. Ibrahim H. Bangura, Amani Noni Bensouda, Fatoumata Sissé, Felicia E.A. Cissé, Ismaila Cissé, Ayman Schumann, Ousseynou Bachir Konaté, Moussa Conte, Nanidine Dabo, Rohiatou Dabo, Roger Chodrick Davis, Zainabou Gaye, Gay, Ismail, Eba Jamal, Hassan Jallo. Mariam Hassan Jallo. Mariam Jallo. Mamadou Mokhtar Jallo.
I don't skip anybody. I arrange it in alphabetical order.
Maybe we have to wrap up them.
Which alphabet? Okay. These are all the diplomas we prepare. We don't have any alphabet here. Which photo? Maybe I've not come there yet.
It's okay, maybe you'll get to it. It's okay.
No. I've not skipped anyone.
Hadijatu Jame. Fatou Jen. Lamine Jaju. Sarah Juara. Abubakar S. Adelaide Diouf. Sip Joe. Aminata Kaba. Ibrahim Eka. Banta Jibril Kaira. Sira S. Kamasu. Lara Kasim. Amzat Intel. Ania E. Kurian. Anisha Marion Marina. Sehu Musa Benga. Ramatulai Boj. Ali Motada. Zainab Motada. Essa Lamin Ngom. Awa Injai. Mariama Injai. Mamadou Musa Injai. Abdul Wasiu Quadri, Zainabu Robots, Charles Robots, Jayanabaz Singh, Badu Ali Hussein, Choro Salah, Fatoumata Sanyang, Alassane Del Sidibé, Mohamed Esson Poussissé, Maria Toussouare, Sukunda Tolpan, Touré, Mam Tutwada, Jainaba Wagon. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's the hand of the diplomas. Thank you, Mr. Tarawali and Mr. Jabi and Mrs. Sonko.
Well, as I said earlier on, we have just witnessed one of the most important reasons for which we are assembled here. The certificates and diplomas have been given to all of you, and all of you are, of course, worthy of what has been given to you. And for that tiring task, I want to thank our chair. I want to thank the two able deputies, two central figures and pillars of Marina, in the persons of Mr. Sise and Mrs. Sonko, as well as Mr. Jabi and Mr. Tarawali. As the chair lady intimated in her speech, this education is like a lifelong journey. What you have achieved is just one giant step, but there are more steps ahead of you. So it is important that we use these certificates and diplomas as sources of inspiration. We've all had a very, very inspirational speech by our guest speaker. That speech, of course, together with these certificates you have received, should give you an added impetus to think of. If you have just completed your IGCSE, you should be thinking now about AS. You should be thinking about you should be thinking about A-levels. You should be thinking about your first degree. You should be thinking about your master's degree. You should be thinking about your PhDs. Education is a lifelong process. It's a lifelong journey. Thank you so very much. Every school, especially a school like Marina International High School that has been here forever, and that has had such an impressive turnout of men and women who are occupying coveted positions in all walks of life, not only in the Gambia, but also abroad, deserve a vibrant alumni association. It is in that respect that I now want to invite Mr. Samsa, I believe a proud product of Marina International High School, for his speech, in which is ably titled Invitation to Alumni Association. You are about to leave Marina International High School, and I'm sure this process here is to inspire you and to encourage you to join the Alumni Association of Marina International High School. Mr. Samsa, you're welcome.
Good evening. Since now you guys have all received your diplomas, I'm sure you all want to go home and party or get ready for your prom, so I promise to keep this very short. Madam Chairman, members of the board, principal and the teaching staff of this academic excellence, ladies and gentlemen, fellow speakers, students, past and present. I'm part of the executive committee of the Marina Alumni Students Association, and I was part of the class of 2007. It's a singular honor to be here today to celebrate your graduation, which marks the end of your studies at Marina International School and the dawn of a beginning for you. I would like to congratulate head teacher Mr. Ato and his team for the excellent job they have done, grooming such fine individuals. They deserve a hearty round of applause. This is a real demonstration of their commitment to lifelong learning and their desire to participate in capacity building in the Gambia. Today's graduation is primarily about celebrating the hard work you've all put in, and one has armed you with requisite attributes for a better and brighter tomorrow. As you make an exodus out of these gates for the last time, you do so with memories that would last a lifetime, and ones that will always remind you of the solid foundation laid by this historic institution in each of you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I crave your indulgence to give you a brief insight of the Alumni Association. The association was formed in 2016 and primarily set up to give back to the school. That has made many of us successful. In 2018, the association donated solar panels at the junior school. We also organized several fundraising events in the past. Most notably was the School Fete in 2018 and the School Dance in 2016, which were both very successful. As you know, the world has been hit with COVID-19, and as a response, the Alumni Association donated hand sanitizers and hand dispensers to the Marina High School. The group had had several plans to sponsor other projects before COVID-19 pandemic, and it's our goal to continue to support the school. I urge all of you to be proactive and support the school after graduation. We owe it to the school to give back. We would need more members to participate. I believe we can do better together. As the old wall of saying spells out, mole, moi dole. It takes hard work, dedication, determination, and commitment. Therefore, my friends, I borrow the eloquent words of Abraham Lincoln. You cannot do for man permanently what they could do and should do for themselves. Unquote. Quite up for us, we can do and we must. Moving on. Today is not about an ending, but a beginning of a great new adventure. Some of you will be starting university here in the Gambia, whilst others will be attending universities abroad. And I'm sure many of you are excited of this new change, while others might be feeling a bit scared. Let me be clear, change and transition from one state to another is the anchor for a brighter future. And as you move on to the next level, I implore you to remember the importance of teamwork. Each of you will encounter situations where you must rely on others for help and support. Only by working as a team, we're able to achieve success. All of you have probably given some thought to what you want to accomplish at university, and maybe even beyond. I stand here today, and from the bottom of my heart, I say, follow your dreams. Make no mistake, you are all future leaders of this world. And not only are we rooting for you, we're also counting on you with great optimism. Let me add, the only people who don't make mistakes are the ones who don't try. We will all falter sometimes, and that is the time when the real test comes before us. We must never panic or give in. We must pick ourselves up and learn from mistakes with one goal, to get it right the second time. Please allow me to share 3 pieces of advice that you may find useful. First and foremost, do not be scared to fail. Today is the start of the next stage of your life, which can be terrifying. But let me tell you a real life story. In August 2007, I received my IGCSE results. I might confess, it was not the best of results. So I started applying for universities abroad, and I couldn't get any acceptance to most of the top universities. But before my GCSE results, Mr. ODCC can attest, I was one of the most stubborn students. He had this Friday special detention. I was a regular member, and he would make us write lines. I remember it was, I will not attend Friday detention ever again, and he would make us write 300 lines. I was also a regular at the principal's office for the wrong reasons. So life is about, it's a marathon and not a sprint. So it's about how you end and not how you start. So in 2008, I had the opportunity to go to Nigeria to do a degree foundation program, and had to retake 5 GCSE results subjects. So fast forward a year later, from flunking my GCSEs, I got a distinction in both my degree foundation program and my GCSE. And I was able to attend one of the best universities in England. And fast forward 14 years later, I've managed to work as an economist with top organizations like the Ministry of Finance, Central Bank, and I currently work at the US Embassy as the economic specialist. So the moral of the story is there's no shortcuts in life. You know, you always have to work hard and don't ever give up. Second advice, do what you enjoy and what you're enthusiastic about. Keep in mind that this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And as a result, don't do something you don't enjoy just to satisfy others. Also, don't be scared to take risks and dream big, but also set targets. Remember that dreams without goals are just goals, and they will only lead to disappointment. So make daily, weekly, monthly, and annual goals. Always set targets for yourself. Number 3, realize that the only route to success is through hard work and dedication, as my uncle would always say. Working hard pays off, and working hard really works. That is precisely what successful people do. Nothing in life is simple. Always remember that you can be successful until you put in the effort. Every day you must put in a lot of effort and make plans, and you should always prepare to fail. There will be so many temptations and distractions whilst at university. No mommy and daddy to tell you to go study or police what you do. You must be self-disciplined. No one is saying not to go out and party, but you just do it moderately. And keep in mind why you're there in the first place. Finally, I want to close by giving you a quote by Derek Jeter, a famous baseball player. There may be people that have more talent than you, but there's no excuse for anyone to work harder than you. Thank you and congratulations.
It's a lost phone. It's a lost phone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samsa, for yet another very, very inspirational speech, which I am sure all of us in this gathering will do well to pay heed to, setting yourself goals and working very, very hard towards the attainment of those goals. That is an advice that has always stood the test of time. Of course, now that Marina has done so much for you, you should be thinking about what you too can do for Marina. And the first step in that direction is joining the Marina Alumni Association. I now want to invite Miss Aisatu Aliu for Goodbye Our Seniors. Miss Aisatu Aliu, Goodbye Our Seniors.
To everyone present here. A special and lovely good evening to all my seniors who are looking absolutely beautiful today. It is with a sense of pride and a little bit of sorrow that I am giving this farewell speech to our bright and smart outgoing batch of 2021. As I stand here, I am filled with joy and contentment, seeing you all with your attire and graduation gowns, perfectly seated and experiencing a lifetime moment you have all been waiting for. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You have finally made it. Your absence as our direct seniors would be greatly felt. You guys have been with us all through these years, from junior school all the way to high school. I must say, your batch is one of the most versatile group of students, with each of your characters being unique in its own way. You have earned and made your mark at Marina International School, and on behalf of all the juniors, we congratulate you for your achievement. As you're phased out of your life living moments, uniquely please, don't throw away your uniforms. Embrace it, as they may be sources of value and memorable stories to talk about years down the line. As you open another chapter in your life journey, I, on behalf of my fellow students and the entire school, wish you all the best. We will miss you so much. I will conclude by asking everyone present here today to please put your hands together for the graduates of 2021.
Thank you very much, Miss Ao. I have every reason to believe that sometime next year, you two will be sitting somewhere here, and your juniors will also be bidding you farewell. Indeed, very interesting sentiments eloquently expressed. As in the words of Shakespeare again, parting is always such sweet sorrow. Parting is such sweet sorrow. vote of thanks. It is time for vote of thanks, and for this all-important function, it is my pleasure to welcome one of the graduates in the person of Mr. Ibrahim Zakaria Silla.
Good evening to our most valued honorable guest speaker, management committee, our hosts, esteemed teachers and their parents, my fellow graduates and everyone. It is my privilege and honor to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked hard to make this unique and special graduation ceremony a huge joy and success for all. First of all, our most sincere thanks to the Almighty. By His blessings and grace, we are able to reach this landmark and make this event very memorable. On behalf of the class of 2K21, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Mrs. Musu Bakoto Sao, who took time of her busy schedule to grace this occasion. Today we had the opportunity to hear some very inspirational words of wisdom on everyone as we continue to reach beyond the skies. Please let us all give her a huge round of applause. Thank you once more. With deep sense of appreciation, we thank our dedicated and dynamic teachers for their untiring efforts throughout our wonderful journey. Indeed, we deeply appreciate your efforts for pampering us right as we work through the Blue Gate from Inform 1 to the very last day we showed our backs to the Blue Gate and reaching this joyful day. Of course, not forgetting our junior school teachers who managed to take care of us all from when we cried from fear until today we cry from joy. I am thanking them all for their unprized patience throughout. I am hereby thanking all the teachers for their participation and willingness to complete tasks beyond their comfort zones in order to mold us into the people we are today. It was a pleasure having to know and work with each and every one of you. Thank you all. We cannot forget to thank our parents and guardians. You are our biggest supporters. You motivate us even when we've given up and lost hope. You always stood by our sides, encouraging and pushing us all until we have conquered all our battles and get the victories we deserve. We cannot thank you enough. Indeed, we owe a special thanks to these following parents: Mrs. Zainab Jawara Alami, Mr. Alvin Abdi, Justice Awagba, Mrs. Mariama Dawajane, Mrs. Ali Karen, Mrs. Penda Bari Sankare, Justice Sena Buwada, and last but not least, Mrs. Abake Williams. They have all played a prodigious role in such a period of time to ensure we have a befitting graduation ceremony at the magnificent conference center. Your plan B has worked marvelously well, and no matter how grateful we are, thanking you all is an understatement for your fight, strive, and faith. For your fight, strive, and faith for ensuring such a memorable day after all the tussle. May the Almighty bless you all and grant all your heart's desires, and we promise we'll make you proud. We will not disappoint you. Please, my fellow students, let us all turn and show them all the love they deserve. Of course, I will not forget my dear friends, the famous class of 2021. It is with utmost joy we put a halt to the most interesting chapter we begun, right from our childhood. And to those that have joined along the way, it has been a great pleasure. It is with great honor I thank you all for being there for each other until the very last day. However, I will not say this is the end of the chapter. neither the beginning of a new one, and struggle still continues. As most of us will be parting ways sooner or later, I would like to say good luck to each and every one of you, and I do hope we stay in touch. Thank you all for making this 13 to 14 year journey a very memorable one, joyful and wondrous. I love you all. As I am finally closing up on my speech, I also want to thank the people who work behind the scenes to organize this event, the technical arrangement team, the stage setting, the lighting team, all musicians, and the housekeeping staff. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are most grateful to you all for taking time out of your day to celebrate us and to participate in this memorable occasion. We thank you all dearly for being here with us this evening. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sila, for recognizing the role and effort that teachers and parents, etc., have played in nurturing and grooming you into the gentleman that you will become today, capable of standing in front of us and delivering such an excellent speech. But let us all remember that Marina continues to be one family, in spite of our differences. In fact, our differences will make us stronger. That is what being a family is all about. And today, parents, teachers, members of the board, and the students, we are all in this together. All of us have played our different parts and our different roles in ensuring that we have had a very, very resounding success. Thank you so much. Now, there is an old Scottish song that is called Auld Lang Syne, which originally was meant to bid farewell to the old year and at the same time welcome the new year. This very, very famous song by the Scottish poet Robert Burns has now become the theme song when it comes to farewell events, of which this is one. Well, Mr. Odisise did remind us of COVID protocols. Normally when we are singing this song, we are supposed to crisscross and link our hands. But we cannot do that today because of COVID protocols, and I wonder how we are going to overcome that. Mr. Odis, what do we do? Okay, let's just swing and sway with the music. It roughly translates 4 days gone by, my dear. That is the rough translation of Auld Lang Syne. It means in English, in standard English, 4 days gone by. Can we all please stand up, please? And can we sway and swing and move with the song which we always sing, okay, at such functions? Mr. Tete, are you ready for us? Oh. Police band, are you ready for us? Let's sway, please, and let's sing along, please. Sing it's in the program. It's in the program, please. The song is in the program, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Another age-old tradition at such functions, in addition to, of course, for days gone by, my dear, which we have just sung, another age-old tradition at such joyful functions is, of course, the drawing up of our mitres. That is usually done to indicate the joy of this moment, and all of us are going to take part in this event. All of you graduates are going to take part in this event. I can see Mr. Conte combing his hair. So let us get ready for this. Let us get ready for this. And please note, as Mr. Silla observed, this is a state-of-the-art hall. You have a lot of expensive things up there. Please be very, very careful. Don't throw your mitres too high. Let us throw them, but let us be careful about how we do. Now, to indicate our love for Marina International High School, let's all the graduates stand up, please. Can we all stand up? And after we all spell Marina, our beloved school, then we will gently, like gentlemen and ladies, we will just throw up our mitres very, very gently. Please be very careful and mindful. After we spell our wonderful school, Marina, which of course we all know is second to none in the Gambia as well as outside the Gambia. Marina, we all know, is second to none in the Gambia. It's not a case of being the first among equals. It is not. Marina is second to none in the Gambia and even outside. Can somebody give me an M? Can somebody give me an A? Can I hear an R? Where is the I? Where is the N? Ladies and gentlemen, where is the A? We will now continue to celebrate the joyful nature of this function by showing our appreciation Thank you very much, police band. Thank you. It is now time for us to continue to share the love of this moment by showing the extent to which we appreciate our parents for all they have been through for us, financially, morally, and otherwise. But let us still be mindful of what COVID protocols. It is now time for us to go to our parents, show them the love, show them the care, show them the concern, show them everything. Give them your gifts. As we listen to You Raise Me Up by Josh Groban. Show them the love, boys, ladies and gentlemen. Show them how much you care, how much you appreciate everything that they have done for you. Show them the love. Parents, appreciate your children as much as they appreciate you. You raise me up. Show them the love, share and spread the love. Show them the extent of your affection. Show them the extent of your affection. Show them how much you care. Show them how much you appreciate everything they've done for you. Remember, parents are always there. They've kept you out of trouble. They've provided for your every needs. Theirs were the shoulders that you cried on. Okay? They are the ones that listen to you. They are the ones that have provided for you. And this ceremony affords you a unique opportunity to show how much you and appreciate them for everything they have done, all the sacrifices they have made, all the anxieties you have made them go through. The list is endless. It's on and on and on. Show them that love. Show them that concern. Show them that affection. Show them everything. Show them how much they mean to you. Show them the depth of your love. Show them the depth of your affection. Show them the depth of show them everything to show that what? Their effort and everything else will certainly not be in vain. Thank you very much. Can we come back to our seats, please, so that we can end properly? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2021, can we come back to our seats so that we can end this thing well and properly? Class of 2021, can we please retake our seats? Let us be seated, please. Let's all be seated, please, so that we can end well. Thank you so much for behaving so very well. We started well and we want to bring this function to a fitting conclusion. Remember, all that ends well. Can we please come back? Let's all be seated so that we can close appropriately.
Keep calling them.
Can we please come and occupy our seats again? Thank you so much for showing how much we appreciate your parents. But let's come back to our various seats so that we can end in the manner of decorum. Please, let's all be seated. Thank you so very much. You've been such excellent graduates. You've behaved in a manner that is worthy, that makes your parents proud, that makes members of the board very, very proud of you. And of course, we, your teachers, are equally proud of you. So let's just be seated and then we can end well. All good things must come to an end. I'm sure you agree with me that today has been a wonderful day. Things have gone like clockwork. Everything has worked to perfection, and we must thank everybody who in myriads of ways have contributed to this Marina style success. Can we all be seated, please? Can we all be seated, please? Please. 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 Let's be seated. Can we all be seated, please? Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. It is now. Thank you so much. Let's keep it quiet, please. Thank you very much, policeman. One bit of important announcement from Mr. ODCC. Those of you that have honor scarves should please return them to the school as early as next week. Those of you that have honor scarves should please return them to the school as early as next week. You will recall, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that at the beginning of this program, we all processed into this hall. It is now time for us to recess out of the hall. And for that, first, please let's remain seated. Please let's do this thing the way it has to be done. Master Bar, can you please be seated, please? We will first start with members of the board and the high table. They will recess out of the hall, and then they'll be followed by by the graduates, and then of course your parents that have been so supportive will then follow you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the high table, especially our guest speaker for your very, very inspirational and motivational speech. I thank you all for coming. I thank you all for your attention, and I wish you the best of luck now and forevermore. Amen. Police band, can we have some background music, please, as we recess? Can we have some soft music as we recess? Thank you very much. Members of the high table have recessed. Students, starting with our A-level people from 7. Can we recess, please? That's not me.
No, I mean the last name of this, Mr.
Let me call him. Let me call him. Mr. Charlie, please. Mr. Charlie, please. Then, confides, please. Confide, please. Mr. Tari, please. Mr. Tari, wherever you are, please. Thank you very much, parents. We honor you, we love you, we appreciate you. We are very grateful for your presence here today. Thank you so very much for coming. You have made our day. We thank you, and we thank you again. In fact, we cannot thank you enough. You've done so well. Sorry? The cup. Okay. Sorry. Oh, now give me one cup now.